This is Pop Culture Confidential, and I'm Christina Yerling Biru. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Let me just put this out there. No plot twist today. I'm not going to hide my excitement over this film. On this episode, we're talking about a masterpiece. Yes, I said it, the scary M word. Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another is a knockout. And joining me for a good old-fashioned PTA meeting is a man who's never afraid to punch-drunk love a movie, bring a little Boogie Nights energy into the room, and prove once again he's truly the master. Ryan McQuade of Awards Watch. Welcome, Ryan. Too much? Too much intro?
Nope, not when you're talking about this movie today, Christina. Man, you're killing it with the intros when we do these episodes.
It's become a thing now that I know you expect it. So I
don't expect anything. I just expect us to talk about the stuff, but then I'm just pleasantly surprised when I hear it, and to be compared to some of his great films, and even to be in the same kind of weird sentence with PTA is a lot for me. So I appreciate it, but I'm beyond excited to be here today. And yeah, there's just like no real beating around the bush with this one. We're here to the motherfucker did it again.
Right?
Like let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Let's let it rip. So Ryan, this is what we're going to do today. That's what we're going to do. We're going to start with our respective sort of brief thoughts about what we think, and then we'll dive into themes and characters and performances in the filmmaking. There will be blood, there will be spoilers, just so people know.
Yes.
But briefly, before I let you loose with plot description and your thoughts, I just want to give a little bit of fun background. So One Battle After Another is Paul Thomas Anderson's 10th film. He's been thinking and tinkering with this story for 20 years almost. And that's pretty amazing because it really feels so right now, so plugged into the moment we're in. It's loosely inspired by Thomas Pynchon's 1990 novel Vineland. So it has some DNA, but I'd say it's very much his own, PTA's own. DiCaprio stars, and this is his first PTA movie. He was actually offered the lead role as Dirk Diggler in Boogie Nights, but turned it down to do Titanic. It also stars Teyana Taylor, Sean Penn, Regina Hall, Chase Infiniti, and Benicio Del Toro, among another wonderful extended cast. The film had a reported budget of around 130 to 175 million, and that is his most expensive film to date. A little touching note here at the end, it's dedicated to Adam Somner, who was Anderson's longtime first assistant director and a producer of many of his films, who passed away in 2024. So that's a little bit just background about it. Ryan, what's it about and your thoughts?
The movie is about 16 years ago, a group of revolutionaries led by Teyana Taylor, and part of it too was Leonardo DiCaprio, called the French 75, who were revolutionaries, anarchists, however you want to describe them, trying to upset the modern establishment. And they run across a very corrupt, dangerous man in the military, played by Sean Penn, called Steve Lockjaw. And through frustrations, through angst, through wanting their own freedom, an event happens inside of the group that kind of rocks the core to everyone, which is the birth of Willa, a birth of this beautiful girl, and it changes Perfidia Beverly Hills, played by the wonderful Teyana Taylor, and she can't accept being a mother. She can't be caged in, really, by domesticity, and so she does an act of violence that really triggers everyone to go into hiding. And 16 years later, Lockjaw is we're full spoilers here, so I can say it. Lockjaw is in the midst of getting accolades and moving up and really becoming a dangerous force in immigration control in the United States, as we are currently constructed now. Or cages and making sure that illegal immigration is secure in this country. He catches the eye and the attention of a secret society known as the Christmas Adventurers Club, which is a racist um, but powerful organization that
Hail Saint Nick there.
Hail Saint Nick indeed. And it is in his background check, we discover that he had an inappropriate relationship with Perfidia, and he is now trying to find Willa and Bob to clean up the aftermath, and then therefore he kidnaps Willa, and it sets off a chain of events for Bob to go and get off of his lazy ass and save his daughter. And it is a stoner comedy. It's a bizarre satire. It is a propulsive examination of revolutionaries and the cost of doing business in this crazy world. And then it is also a father-daughter story. It's also a mother-daughter story at the same time too. And it's a profound statement by the greatest living modern filmmaker of our time.
Well, I echo what you're saying. Briefly, my thoughts. I mean, I wrote right after I had seen it that it's really a defining film of our era. I have to say that. And so much more. I'm sorry to diss it, but compared to like Ari Aster's Eddington, which was for me so full of sort of cliche social satire, this feels so deep, but at the same time, really cinematic entertainment. It's edge of your seat thrilling. I was literally forward in my seat. The plot, the tempo, Johnny Greenwood's absolutely pulsing score. It just didn't breathe for a minute. I think Teyana Taylor and Sean Penn are at their absolute best. They're really brilliant. DiCaprio and Benicio, I thought were so funny, yin and yang. They kind of sort of balancing their each other's nerves, but and almost veering towards slapstick a few times. And you mentioned that wonderful father daughter story and these brilliant layered female characters that are running through. And at the same time, you have this military machinery, the sort of paranoia of our time, rebellions and ideals. DiCaprio mentioned a few times in interviews that he thought a lot about Dog Day Afternoon, and that kind of really opened it up for me. Excuse me. Sort of sad act of resistance, the phone calls that he's constantly making, the Viva la Revolucion Attica thing. Um, I was really, really taken by this movie, and I think that we're going to be talking about it for a very long time.
So Christina saw this before me, and my anticipation grew. And Eric and Sophia saw it twice before I saw it. And everybody I talked to for 2 weeks when they started screening this film, Christina, said, Ryan, you're gonna absolutely love this film. You were right, how great it is. And it might, and some, even Sophia said, this might be your favorite PTA film. I won't go that far because I need time.
You have to
And
marinate.
I've had to have to marinate. Also, I've had so much time with Phantom Thread and There Will Be Blood, two movies that are very important to me, and I think that that's the great place for me to start. Christina, is Paul Thomas Anderson is the most important director to me of my lifetime, of probably my generation of cinephiles for sure. I think There Will Be Blood was an awakening moment. Like, I think how a certain generation talks about Lawrence of Arabia, or they talk about 2001: A Space Odyssey, and seeing that on the big screen, these encapsulating moments in cinema that define who we are. The best film of the last 25 years for me, when we were doing the exercise at Awards Watch, um, my vote was hard for There Will Be Blood. I think that that is a movie about capitalism that has continued as we get more and more capitalistic and mean spirited. It grows and grows and grows and grows. And then Phantom Thread is like the movie of when I've been in my long term relationship with my wife, and that's a movie where it's like, man, if you've lived with someone that's barely even just a smidge creative, you know the tugs and pull that movie can, and it's also just beautiful and epic and romantic and wickedly funny. And he has these things. He has defining movies that speak to a generation. Like for the '90s, it's Boogie Nights or Magnolia. For the 2000s, it's There Will Be Blood. For the 2010s, it's The Master or Phantom Thread, mostly Phantom Thread. And Licorice Pizza was a little bit more divisive than I think people needed to give it. This is the most universal film I've seen in terms of praise in a very long time, and it's a it's a perfect film. Like I hate using that word perfect, but I've seen this movie twice now. I don't know
Oh,
how
we're
you
gonna
can make.
get so much shit for masterpiece and
I
perfect and
know
all that, but I'm fine with that. You know
I
what?
I am too, because when a movie comes around like this, it's a once in a decade, once in a generation sort of thing, and those hyperbole statements that have been said about it are absolutely correct. This movie is propulsive. It moves. It is a 2 hour and 40 minute edge of your seat thrill ride that feels like it's 80 minutes. It feels like it goes by in a flash. There's no there's no fat on this meat. Like this is just go 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 go. And even the moments that you think it's going to stop, it doesn't. And it maybe has one or two moments where it lets you catch your breath. It's like a half second to catch your
Hardly.
breath. There's like a scene with Benicio and Leo, and they're in the car, and then Leo fucks up, like Bob always does in this movie, by drinking just a little bit of beer while they're driving, and then it's like, well, shit, we gotta more action, and then it propels into a third act that is, I mean,
Oh God, that third act. I mean,
that third act is it's crazy. Like I
yeah.
watched,
And the
I,
chase is like a in the pantheon of like Spielberg's Duel or Thelma and Louise or whatever you want, which is like
it's like the French
intertwined.
Connection
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Bullet and all
even
these
that. Yeah.
great,
I'm going to
cart.
Borrego Springs or whatever that's called just to ride those hilly highways. That was it's so I didn't even think he had that kind of action in him, if to be honest.
No, I mean, like that's the thing. It's like this is the first time I think since Fury Road chase scenes felt original and new. And a lot of the setups. Sophia was telling me in a Q and A that she heard with PTA that those scenes with Willa in the car where they're going over the hill, he
Mhm.
didn't know if they could actually shoot it, so they actually tested it with an iPhone and
Oh wow.
shot and did it in sequence with an iPhone. He liked what he saw. Then they put the big cameras inside the car and they did it that way. And it was a lot of sort of improv and working on the day with it and everything. And you listen to him. I've listened to interviews already and read some stuff, and it's like they had he's been tinkering with this for 20 years, but he wasn't so precious to the point where he wasn't listening to collaboration. Things change, revolutions change over time. We see that in this film that, this is almost a 20-year timeline. It speaks a lot about PTA. This might be his most personal film since Phantom Thread, which is crazy because like that's a lot about power dynamics and his wife and Daniel Day-Lewis and his wife and working and living with her creative and all these different things. This is his one about his kids
Hmm.
and the relationship that his responsibility of his generation of what we've left for the world for our kids to live in, to play around in. And I think it's a profound
And
statement
also
of that.
kind of the power of rebellion when you're young and then what it means when you grow older. I thought that was a theme that really resonated with me.
Yeah, it did for me too. I mean, like you're talking about like a distinctive first act where you're seeing this energy within Pat or Bob, play however you want to call him, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, where he is actually a secondary character. I mean, like it was interesting listening to Sean Fennessy's podcast, and he interviewed both DiCaprio and PTA, and they were like, "Oh, they weren't interested in the best guy of the group getting, like they were saying, what if the sixth guy of this revolution actually was the one that was the last man standing, and he had the kid, and he had to go and save him." Like what does that guy do? And but then it's like, well, what if that guy is also involved in a romantic relationship with the leader of this group, the energy of this group, and he's white and she's black, and it's a black movement. And I found a lot of it to be just very interesting about the fact that for Leo, he's a part timer in this. This is for him, and what Pat and Bob represent is a guy that, oh yeah, me when that line of me and your mom used to do some crazy shit when we were in when we were younger. For him, it's just crazy shit. It's just a thing that you can say you did on your resume when you were in college, and you shook up the world for half a second, and then you got a job and you got a Subaru, and you waste away. And for Perfidia, this is her life. This is a movement. This is something that's going to change the world, and it doesn't stop when getting married, and it doesn't stop having a baby, and it doesn't stop when you're not as desirable. And she talks, and it's PTA
It
and
doesn't stop when you join the Sisterhood of the Brave Beaver, which is my
no, it doesn't
favorite.
stop there either. But like what's so great about Perfidia as a character is she's just this bulldozer of an individual, and she's sleeping with the enemy so that they can keep the movement going. She hasn't told Pat any of this stuff because it's none of his fucking business. She's the leader of this. So she's chaos in control. But what if the chaos is uncontrolled, and that's what happens when she shoots the cop at the bank robbery, and starts the chain of events that lead then this chaos that she leaves in her path. I mean, she's considered then by everyone she's a rat because she ratted everybody out to save her own neck. But then she realized she made a massive mistake, and she has to live with that. And the rest of this film is living the chase and going after Willa and Willa's life, and every single decision that every character makes is in the wake of Perfidia making one bad decision after another. And and when she says the line in the letter at the end of like, we failed, it's not we, it's her. The movement failed because they lost their leader. They lost somebody that was so vital and important. And the only one that can pick that up is her daughter. The only one that can pick that up is the next
The next
generation, and try to
generation. Yeah.
try to learn from the mistakes of the past. And I think that that's what PTA is talking about, whether it's for politics, whether it's for film, whether it's for anything, for life, is that their generation had their chance and they fucked it up. And this is how we left it with the movie. Starts with an ice raid, and it's small and it's contained, but it's scary. And then when Lockjaw gets power, those walls grow bigger, the camps are larger, the underground systems in which migrants have to run through are more intricate and dangerous if they are caught. And for me, it was like this, because y'all screwed up. This is the ramifications of that, and it's it's a profound statement. And it also is like, I want to say this, Christina, and then I'll kick it over to you. I'm sorry. Is
Yeah, no
that
problem.
this movie is, I've seen a lot of people like try to talk online about like how political this thing is going to be. And you mentioned Eddington. Eddington is a vastly political film that doesn't want to choose a side. This is a movie that has politics at the forefront and of it, and revolutionary ideas and racist conservative ideas, but it does not put a Democratic or a Republican label on it. It says what is right. What do you think is right? What do you think is morally wrong? Do you side with the fact that like these guys are going up against the system? Do you, and because the system itself looks vastly corrupt, racist, nasty, disgusting, vile, and predominantly white.
But it also
And
talks about the revolutionaries and how they didn't prepare the next
no,
generation either.
no, and it's very much from the, they're living in their moment and they're making this up as they go. Pat talks about at the beginning, like, what's the plan? And she's just like, we're kind of like making it up as we go
Mhm.
in a lot of ways. and the goal is just to let's get these guys out and we'll go on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And, but there's also too this great thing about the movie where this is a movie of black women and black women in control. And Bob is in love with this woman, but he can't help what's in his blood, which is that the American dream, the white picket fence, the family staying at home, smoking the weed, living off of the one victory. And she's like, no, that's not how this is going to work. Like that's not who I am. Her mother says you're going to vastly disappoint my daughter because she's a runner and you're a stump. And that line is like hits you hard because it's like
Hmm.
no matter what you do to take care of this child, you're not enough. The revolution is more important to you, or the more important to her than you. You know, for Lockjaw, he's not going to stop. Guys like that don't stop. They only keep going. They only are more persistent about erasing the problems that are in their way. And
And in his case, he represents someone who's like fighting a battle more for personal racist reasons than any sort of ideology.
no, he's very much, yeah, it's very much all of his work wrapped inside the migrant system is just so that he can get to this place
Right.
with power. He wants power. He
And
doesn't
he wants
actually
the
have.
corner office and he wants to get into that and
Yep.
that's what he wants.
So he doesn't actually care about, you know, he talked about like if you want to, immigration's the really like the biggest thing that like cure this country, or is, in Tony Goldwyn says like this line about, how like if you want to fix this country, you start with immigration. And that's what, Lockjaw says at like a dinner or something. And he's only saying that because he wants to get in this club, because he wants this power, because he wants this promotion.
Mm.
You know what I mean? He doesn't actually like he doesn't believe in any
Well, I
of
guess
this
he wants
stuff.
to belong to
He
something.
wants to belong to something. Yeah, but he has an attraction to black girls, which is very much the opposite of what you're supposed to have in the Christmas Adventurers Club, because it's a purely white nationalist, racist, you know,
What does he say?
skull
He's
and
been reverse
crossbones.
raped?
Yeah, like yeah, skull and crossbones kind of a society
Mm.
that feels deep within these very racist white traditions.
Oh, the
These
Christmas metaphor is amazing.
it is an amazing metaphor because that's the thing that the right always fucking harps on the most is like, why can't you say Merry Christmas anymore? And this has been something that like Jon Stewart and others have tackled from Fox News for years. And so the fact that they're the Christmas Adventures Club, and the fact that most people in this country, when they do like Christmas in July or 20, 12 months of Christmas and all this shit, it's like, well, gee, I wonder who that is. I wonder who those people are, because it's like what a luxury it is to celebrate this fictitious bullshit holiday every day of the fucking year, because like you get to live that because you live in your white utopia, and there are people out there like the French 75, like what Benicio and his family are doing in their Harriet Tubman situation, that they don't get to have that luxury. Their life in this country is vastly different than getting banana pancakes, and secret knockings on a door,
Let's talk a little bit about the characters and the performances. You mentioned quite a bit about Leo as Bob Ferguson and slash Ghetto Pat, and Perfidia Beverly Hills, played so amazingly by Teyana Taylor. Anything else you want to mention about those performances?
They have electric chemistry. They really do. I mean, there's like a moment where he's trying to explain to her shunt and the bomb, and that they're going to try to set off at this bank, and she just walks across the room. She's drawn to him like a moth to a flame. She knows that he has this energy inside of him that she's attracted to, and as Willa comes into the fold, that disappears. And so then I think that once Will is gone and taken, he becomes the man that Perfidia fell in love with, especially in the third act. Like he's this nonstop force that is going to find that his daughter no matter what. And it's the great thing about this movie, Christina, is like this is a movie that is the personification of the idea of the power of love and parenthood and for Pat to wake up. But I mean, he is worried about her because she's pregnant and I think she's like drinking and she's doing things that are completely, she's there's a line where he says like it's like she doesn't even know she's pregnant, and she's still going around running around blowing up things and doing things like she's normal. And so
Tiana's just amazing. I mean,
she
she really is.
she's
But what about Leo in I mean, PTA wise?
I
This is
mean,
like just a perfect role for him, though, right?
the second time I watched this movie, I was like, I'm watching the director of my lifetime work with the actor of my lifetime, and they are making something that is going to be a defining statement for my generation, and it's a message of hope and optimism inside a world of chaos. And I just think that Leo is he's so great when he plays an idiot. Like there's nobody else I think better in the
Yes,
world
true.
of playing an idiot than Leonardo DiCaprio. He's he shows you layers of these idiots over the course of Wolf of Wall Street to, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood
And
to even Killers
stressed
of the
Leo
Flower
is
Moon.
good.
Like it's just like he finds new levels of absurdity, but then he also finds new levels of compassion and caring for Bob. I mean, there's no greater moment than him kind of going through the world of Benicio's Harriet Tubman situation as they call it in the film, and he's just trying to charge his phone and he can't charge the phone. And
Yeah, the phone.
I need to ask I gotta ask PTA if I ever get a chance to for this film. I gotta ask him about like how much did he consult with people in the Latino community? How much did he consult with people in the Black community? Because there's this moment. It's this great tracking shot through an apartment, and Benicio is introducing him to every single member of the family while he's desperately trying to like get to a phone to charge this thing.
And yeah, that's
And
the one. That's what I was mentioning at the beginning. The sort of yin and yang of their energies.
so
Benicio
much
and
so,
Leo are so great together, and
ocean
as
waves, Bob,
Benicio
ocean
so
waves.
calmly, so so calmly going through this really hideous situation, knowing that they're going to bust in, but he's still introducing everyone, and Leo's just going bananas
Yeah.
with the
This is the
phone
new one.
charger,
This
and
is Landon. You know what I mean? And you're just like, oh my God. But guess what? Christina, as a Latino and as someone that met like, that was literally how I met my wife's family was like, you go through every door and you have to say hi to everyone before you can sit down and eat, and, or do
and
whatever
you
you
do that
needed to
every
do.
time.
You do it every time. And if it's somebody new, that's really the person you got to meet. And then when you leave, you got to say bye to everybody again. And if you don't do that, then they're going to be like, hey, why the fuck didn't you say bye to everybody? Like, you'll get in trouble for it. So it's little things like that. It's so specific. It's incredible stuff. But no, I think Leo's wonderful here. And that moment I mentioned earlier in the car when the movie stops for half a beat and he realizes like, I can only do so much as a dad. Like she needs her mom, she needs other people, she needs to be a person. I can't just hold her with inside this compound. And he's kind of reflecting on like I got us into this mess. Her mother got us deeply in this mess, but when she was a child. But I'm the one that didn't remember the text and took all the drugs and abused alcohol and became a shell of myself because he lost the woman he loved because he lost the thing that was his movement, which was her. Like
Mhm.
she rocked his world, and Perfidia's world was the French 75. And in that, a man lost his wife, a daughter lost her mother, and they lost tons of friends and tons of people from the waste that was laid by Lockjaw and his associates. And I think Leo in these small moments is absolutely perfect. There's nobody else in the world that could do that jarring juxtaposition of being really stupid and really funny and like can literally in a sequence, if you did it all in one, like run out of a hospital, get in a car, drink a beer, yell and scream, let's go,
Oh, first
and
fall
then
out of a tree.
first fall out of a tree, get tased, and then slow down, drink that same beer, cry, be emotional and cathartic about his daughter, see the cops fuck up and have to scarily jump out of a moving vehicle and then race to the finish line. And it's like, yeah, nobody could do that. It's one of his best performances I've ever
Mm-hmm.
seen it from
I
him.
think so too.
And it's done because all the action, all the comedy, all the crazy shit that's in this movie, Anderson puts it back into the emotionality of these characters. And he grounds it all back into just the basic things of like us trying to take care of one another, us trying to save our family, whatever we have left within the chaos that surrounds. So it's a perfect performance. Teyana Taylor is reminded me a little bit of like the effect I had with Mahershala Ali in Moonlight,
Mm.
where this person is in the first act of this film and they are delivering in every scene. They're taking over every moment
She's
of this
just
movie. And then when she's gone, you feel her energy and her presence in every moment of that movie, especially when you see Chase Infinity, who is
this
a
is a
revelation.
newcomer who just
It is a
knocks
revelation in
it
this
out of the
movie.
park. Yeah.
Maybe the most emotional moment I've had in the theater this year, and I've cried both times, Christina, is the cut, and it's the needle drop of Steely Dan's Dirty Work, which is a great song to use for this movie because you're talking about like, these people are going to have to do the dirty work of um of a relationship, but then the dirty work of having to clean up the aftermath of perfidia. And the dirty work of all and taking care of that is this girl. So you go from this little girl who's in the car, who's defenseless, who's an infant, who's this beautiful, beautiful little girl, and is the hope of the world. And he cuts it to her in that dojo taking care of herself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's oh shit, I'm gonna get
Oh,
emotional.
yeah.
It's a beautiful, profound statement. And it's by PTA of that, like this girl, she doesn't need protection. It's built in her. It's always been inside of her. Talked about, one of the you know the one of the sisters of the what is it, the proud
The
beaver,
Sisters of the Brave Beaver.
brave beaver, yes. um the the head nun goes like, you don't look like your mother, but inside you do. And the daughter of a rat is still a little rat, and meaning that she's gonna crawl and she's a survivor. And but she can channel it better than her mother can.
I
She's
just want
not,
to mention,
you know.
yeah, no, just quickly before we move on, I want to talk about Sean Penn too. But you mentioned a great needle drop. Another great needle drop in this movie is Tom Petty's American Girl, which made me emotional because that's
Me too.
also Chase Infinity. And there's two movies that have used that you know the other one, right? I mean, Silence of the Lambs, Jonathan Demme's also use of American Girl. I mean, perfection both times.
Yes, and I mean he is PTA's relationship with Jonathan Demme is profoundly documented. He was a massive friend and fan of Demi's work, and he says that he borrows a lot of his techniques of close-ups, and really the technique of that close-up when you see Chase Infinity is very much one of like Clarice
Mm.
Starling in that film,
And the
and
song and the whole, oh
and
God,
and
yeah.
everything. Like
And what it
I
represents and
it's different, right? Because in that
raised
movie
on
it's
promises, the whole
yes, exactly. No, for sure. Like the lyrics mean everything. the intention in Silence of the Lambs is this girl that feels absolutely free, and then her freedom is taken away. And then the
Immediately.
inverse in here is that this girl is finally free, and her life is limitless at this point because she's now going to go fight
Great
her
use both
generation's
times.
battles. You know what I mean? So it's no, I mean, if I was crying a lot during
Yeah.
this movie, and when that happened too, I was like, son of a bitch, what
Yeah.
a beautiful way to end this movie. Like
I
he's
want to talk to you about Sean. I mean, if there's someone who, I mean, if there's one character that I hear people are like, that a few have wrestled that they don't like as much as the rest, it's his portrayal of Stephen Lockjaw.
you've, you're kidding.
Not, not in my case, but yeah, I mean, that it's too much or that it's this, but
It's 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 maybe the best work Sean Penn's done in like 20, 30 years.
it is.
It's like it's a bold performance, and it is like Popeye meets Anton Sugar. It is wild.
That's a good.
Um, he's a buffoon and but terrifying. I mean, there's this the scariest moment in this movie is when Perfidia is lying in that hospital bed, and he's trying to twist her arm to, do you love you love it's because you love me, right? And are you ready for the full embrace of the federal government? Like it's
Oh,
these under your nails nasty lines of dialogue that PTA puts in that man's mouth. Um, there's a moment when he does the test, like the he does a really quick paternity test, which is an as unreliable of a fucking paternity test as I've ever seen ever.
and that whole
Um,
scene in the church, in the
in the church, and
oh gosh, it's yeah.
the long camera, and just the two of them going back and forth, it's really profound stuff. But there's, every line of dialogue that Penn has in there, it's like this uncomfortable man trying to be a father or thinking that he's a father. He's like, when he screams, "You're mine," and it reminded me of Mystic River, and of just his fury there of losing a daughter, but this is of gaining one, but not wanting to gain one because he knows what then he has to do there in that moment. Is that you should put on more makeup. If you're going to go to a dance, you should make an effort. Like it's these, when they're trying to go back and forth. What is this? Making up for lost time? Daddy daughter games? Like they're hilarious lines, but they're also extremely terrifying.
Terrifying. But then
She's
he
giving,
also does pathetic at the end
oh, he's
so well
so
that it's
pathetic. Like in the first scene with Tony Goldwyn, um, he's so tense and such a soldier at that moment, like a little soldier boy. You know what I mean? Like that's why the needle drop is like the soldier boy drop when he has this sexual encounter with Perfidia, and she literally sticks a gun up his ass. Like he is a pathetic man. Like for all the brass and talk and power that he wants and possesses, he is putty in people's hands. He's pathetic. And Penn plays this dance so well of this powerful man that in his world he is the Christmas adventurers to the underrepresented, to these migrants, to the people that don't have power, and to the Christmas Adventurers Club, he is scum.
but you think
He's
they ever wanted him? And this is all just a
no.
ruse. It's all
I mean,
just a
like,
ruse.
I think they did want him, but then they did a double Yankee White investigation, and they found he's no more trash than the people they're trying to get off the streets. And but it's also how hypocritical people in power are. People have affairs. I mean, for God's sakes, one of the Christmas adventurers is named Roy Moore. Like, is there any more like more of like a hey, wink wink nudge nudge to like how hypocritical Roy Moore is running, like a guy named Roy Moore is running an organization like this, when we know that like Roy Moore is a name synonymous with like underage sexual relationships. Oh, and by the way, he's running for political office. Like, so, like, there's these things wrapped within it that it's a massive hypocritical society for sure. But he fits perfect right in there because he's a hypocrite himself. He's wanting to lock all these people up, but then he's attracted to this, as he puts it, he's attracted to black girls. You know what I mean? He loves them, and it's this rage inside of her. And he has these great scenes with Chase Infinity, but and I mean, like and she's got her mother inside of her because she's like, "Why is your shirt so tight?" You know,
Yeah, that's
it's,
that's
it's
such a
not.
good one.
It's I'm not gay. I'm not a homosexual. You know what I mean? It's the very defensive, but then there is a line that he says that I'm a Christmas adventurer and I have purpose, and being it's essentially like being that is more important than you'll ever be. And it's like, yeah, he doesn't want to be a father. He doesn't want to have any of this. He sees this all as a mistake. He sees this as, like, as the Roy Moore character says, he can, if Lockjaw can erase this and clean his plate, then he makes them all look like fools. He makes people think that you can get away with this stuff, even though they're human and you like who you like. And, um, but he's an indestructible force that just keeps moving and moving and moving as
Mm,
well. And then, yeah, his pathetic excuses as to why he had the child or had the relationship in the first place, reverse raped and sea demon and all that shit. It's hilarious because
yeah,
it's so
it's
absurd. And yeah, I mean, it reminds you a little bit of Freddie Quill. It reminds you a little bit of Punch Drunk Love and Sandler's performance too. It reminds you of just, but then it also reminds you of just just take that all out of there. Those sequences with the Christmas Adventurers Club, it reminds me of the Coen brothers. It reminds me of Burn After Reading. It reminds
mhm.
me of the scenes with Woody Harrelson and Stephen Root inside this place that's miles and miles away from the action, but is the one really stirring the drink of this whole conversation. And it also reminded me of Tarantino and how the dossiers are put on there. It reminded me of Inglorious Bastards a little bit of like, here's all the information. We need to clean this all up. We need it so clean we could all eat off the floor. Like, there's just these great lines that are put into it. But I think Penn is incredible here, and it's one of the best performances of the year.
Mhm.
I mean, Christina, what did you think of it?
Oh, I think it's absolutely stunning. And just because it's so layered, the absolutely horrifying aspects of it, and then the pathetic part of it, and then the humor of it, I really think this is one of his best performances, I would say, ever.
Ever? No.
Um,
And also too, what Anderson talked about is like this is also an unconventional protagonist antagonist film where they meet one time, like, and then the other time they meet, he's presumed dead, and then that moves on. Like, so there's no like
while these
confrontation.
storylines, three or four of them running at the same
Same
time.
time, they're
Incredible.
not. He's not running. He doesn't have a monologue of, and he never finds out. Bob never finds out about still about Lockjaw. Like, that's a secret Willa's got to carry all the way to the grave, or
Hmm.
if she want, but she doesn't need to tell him because Willa's been frustrated with her dad and frustrated with like the living situation and his paranoia and his drugs and drunk driving and everything like that.
But he was still the dad.
But he's still the dad, and like he has to force her to say, "I love you" and everything. But she's, "I love you, Bob, 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 Bob." And
But
the
I saw
thing that
that more as a teenage
it
father-daughter
does,
thing
but when she
than,
goes
yeah.
through this experience and he's at the table and he's trying to come up with a way to tell her about this letter, she finally, for the first time in that movie, calls him dad.
Hmm.
And
All right. I didn't.
it doesn't matter really at all who her father is. She knows who her father is, and she knows who her mother really is.
Hmm.
And that's what makes that character so great. I mean, Chase Infinity, I can't state enough how much I think she is a revelation in this movie. And she's the real reason this movie got made because PTA has said multiple times he couldn't cast Willa. He couldn't find
Mhm.
somebody to play this role. Um, and when he found her, she was like, there's nobody else. And but I mean, she's great opposite Penn. She has this great sort of savior s scene of herself when she's taken in by these like really or handed over to these really racist, nasty looking guys that are going to probably chop her up, right? And that felt very Silence of the Lambs, Clarice Starling in the dark. Only this is in broad daylight, her tied up and everything. And then her just like over the steering wheel, and you're like, and it's the propulsion of Johnny Greenwood scores, just
Mhm.
building and building, and felt very much like an ode to, at times, The Wizard of Oz, and then it felt at times like Radiohead's A Moon Shaped Pool album, their last album, like all kind of coming in there with a little bit of like There Will Be Blood and all these great things, like, and just building I mean, Christina, this ultimate tense
Oh my gosh, the
chase
last.
scene that felt like a roller coaster ride. Like if you
It
put
was.
your hands in the air, you felt like you were at a theme
You
park, for
did,
Christ's sake.
yeah. You mentioned Greenwood. Let's talk a little bit about the filmmaking. He's working here with a lot of people that he's worked with many, many times.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you want to single out? Michael Bauman, cinematographer.
Well, Michael Bauman, I mean, is somebody that he's worked with a couple times now. I mean, no offense to Michael Bauman, but we all know that Paul Thomas Anderson also is his own cinematographer
Hmm.
on a couple of his own films. So it's like, how much does Michael Bauman really like do, and how much does where does his job start and where does PTA's end? So I think they're really hand in hand, and I mean they're shooting a lot of close-ups, they're shooting a lot of tracking shots. This is a movie that you're right. It's like 140 million. I think is where everyone sort of settled on the budget, and it feels that big, and it feels very epic, and it feels very propulsive, and it's moving, 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 moving. And what they're doing is they're shooting on VistaVision,
Hmm.
and they're shooting on these cameras that haven't been used or rarely used um, for such a long time on this side of massive scale. I mean, Brady Corbet used it for The Brutalist, but Paul Thomas Anderson is correct. Is that a wide release like this, a massive blockbuster push like this with VistaVision has not been done for 40, 50, 60 years. And these are very delicate lenses, and so also too, they had a lot of room to play, but they're shooting on film, so like they're shooting dailies, and they're trying to figure all this stuff out too. Like a lot of the sequences with Benicio were a lot of Benicio rewriting stuff. I mean, Regina Hall, who's fantastic in her small
Hmm.
role in this movie, talked a lot about how like in the script it said chaos TBD, and he would create it on the day there with the pieces that he asked for. So
Amazing.
he knew what he was doing. It's as if he had, you know, shout out to my co-host on Director Watch, Jay Ledbetter. He's like, in his letterbox review after he saw the film, he's like, "Oh, so he's just like the best at action sequences as well too." And
Yeah,
we just didn't even fucking know that,
yeah,
you know.
that just
Um,
was there.
it was just in there, but also it makes sense. Like this is the guy that walked out of his school when he was young because the professor told him like, if you think Terminator 2 is art, then you're full of shit. And he's just like, but Terminator 2 is art. Like it's so, and that movie is a chase. Like that whole
Hmm.
movie is a giant chase scene through and through, and
Another
propulsive and
good one.
moving and moving
Yeah,
and moving and moving. So I was thinking a lot about like
through the
that
reservoirs.
guy inside of him that saw that movie when he was, when he was in school, wanting to make a movie like this. You know what I mean? And so it's
I
his
want to shout out the
largest
editing.
scale.
Andy
Oh
Jorgensen.
man,
I think the editing, if this doesn't win, I mean, nominated
it
must,
has
but
to.
the fact that we were saying before, there's so many different things parallel going on at the same time, and you have to have the comic timing in the editing, you have to have action editing, you have to have like character driven style. I think the editing is absolutely spectacular.
No, I totally agree. I mean, it's these little
Andy
quick cut.
Jurgensen is his name.
Man, there from the get-go, there's this one shot where we see Tiana Taylor scoping out. It's literally in the first 2 minutes where Tiana Taylor is scoping out the ice center they're about to go and raid into. And then Leo's running down the street with the tear gas and all the, the fireworks and explosives that they need. And it just opposes it's a fade into Leo and a fade out of Tiana. But there's a moment where they're both faded together at the same sort of resolution. And it was like, God damn, that's a great edit to already establish like these are our people. These it's almost like memory.
Hmm.
It's almost like if Willa could have had a memory of what her mother looked like and what her father looked like when they were young, this is what it could have looked like a faded picture 16 years later. And so yeah, I mean, like between that, these long sequences cutting back and forth between, the chaos that's going up outside of Becton Cross to then the stuff that's going, the interrogations that are at the high school, to the stuff with Bob, to the stuff in the car with Willa's escape, to back to Lockjaw on the
And it
streets.
never lets up.
It doesn't
And
stop. It doesn't stop because fighting for what you love, you're not going to stop. The propulsive and just insane energy of Penn as Lockjaw, like this man on a mission. Um, yeah, and I mean, and then within that are these moments of frustration, and there's these moments of panic, and there's maybe one of the scenes of the year that involve Leo on the phone having to talk to a revolutionary customer service rep, which is a
oh,
is so fucking good,
it's
and
so funny.
it is, it incorporates a lot of like his frustrated Leo, Wolf of Wall Street, Once Upon a
Hmm.
Time in Hollywood s thing, but the payoff of this is so Paul Thomas Anderson. I mean, like the man can take a really good bit and just keep it going until it's hit like the breaking point, like when he has to call in, when he has to call in like the supervisor. It's and there's the line that makes me laugh was on the original, that's in like the when he was on the payphone, and he's going and he goes like, and this phone line service, which is incredible that it exists in the first place, it's so good. But then when the guy has to like apologize, and he goes, hey brick, like give me the fucking coordinates. It's so good. And then he's like, oh, you want to apologize now? What's the time? And then he tells him what really the answer to what the time was. And he goes, God, that's such bullshit. Like it's just it's so
It's
good.
so
Leo's
great. Yeah.
so good in this movie. It's incredible.
And then, of course, the brilliance of Johnny Greenwood,
I mean,
frequent collaborator.
Christina, can
I
we say
mean,
it? Like this has to win the Oscar for score.
it
There's no
does.
other score
I mean,
this
it's
year.
part of this. It's the story. It's what's helping this
It's a character in this
propulsion.
movie.
Mm.
Yeah, it is what moves this movie
The
forward.
little
Is
and
like
his little piano, ding ding ding.
ding 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 ding, but then it's the little smaller moments is when the guitar comes out, but then the strings at the end where, and like I saw this I've seen this in Vista and I've seen this in 70 millimeter IMAX. The 70 millimeter IMAX sequence with the score and those and going over the hills, with the it's a sensory overload in the most awesome way,
Hmm.
because you have the tension of these characters, everybody's coming to a head. My crowds were eating up when they see, you know Leo's little, shitty car come around the corner following behind them. But then you just like, it's just building and building, and that tension is up 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 up, and it builds all the way right into the end. And it's like a ride you can't not want to go on. And when you were a
Hmm.
kid and you go on a roller coaster, you're like, fuck, I want to go ride that again and again and again. To the point in which then you're like, your parents are like, okay, we need to stop riding that ride. But then you're like, maybe they went and got a water, or maybe they went to the bathroom, and you're like, I think I could fit one more ride in here if I gotta. if I just look the right way, I can run up there real quick. And that's kind of like wanting to watch this movie. It's like, I want to see this as many times as I can. Should I watch other things? Should I talk about other stuff? Yeah, I should. But I mean, Christina, I've been in New York now for a week. New York Film Festival, the critics screenings have started. Tonight is the opening night film. And so the festival and the 18 days kick off. And guess what? Everybody I'm talking to down here doesn't give a
Just
tinker's
talking about
fuck
this one.
about anything other than one battle after another.
Oh.
They're not talking about any movies they're excited about at the fest. People down here are just like, yeah, I'm seeing this and this, but like in between that time, I've got
A
a 70
third
millimeter
viewing. Yeah.
ticket, or I've got the second viewing, or I'm seeing it for the first time, or I'm actually running all the way across town to to see it in Vista, or I just got a regular ticket and I'm seeing it. So people are excited for this movie, and rightfully so, because it's like, Sophia mentioned this in her letterbox review, and it scared the shit out of me going into it because I was worried about hype. But then she's absolutely right. It's like, this is a moment we rarely get nowadays. Like, what it must have felt like to be in the theater to see Psycho, or what it must have felt like to see
Yeah,
Jaws
I
or
saw those.
2001 or something like that, where you're just like, you're seeing a movie that will define an era, that made, I think, our exercise at Awards Watch already earlier this year of the best of the decade so far feel like an irrelevant exercise. Like the minute I was done, I was like, God damn it. If we just would have waited a month or two, we would have put this at number one. Like it would. And it's crazy. It's like the people that have doubted PTA before, or aren't big PTA fans, like you're and myself, they're all loving this. There's not a
Mhm.
single person that I've really come across outside of maybe like one or two, and they're not serious people. You know what
No,
I mean?
exactly.
As
You're
Brian
not
Cox would
serious,
say,
people.
they're not.
What do you make finally about like what do you think box office wise? It's Friday today, opening night.
Ooh,
Monday, what do you think?
Monday, I think we're gonna see like 55 to 60 million. I think it's gonna be a little bit of a tick higher than what,
You
because
think?
it keeps moving up, like worldwide. I'm talking about worldwide. Um, I think this movie is going to have legs, and it's going to get tested on Cinema Score. I think the Cinema Score is going to be really good for it. Don't quote me on this. I could never know what people in Cinema Score are going to be like. God damn, it's like but like way back when they did Cinema Scores for, I think, Boogie Nights and Magnolia, and those were like, Boogie Nights was a C, and Magnolia was a C minus, which is basically like, this movie sucks. For audience, which is crazy.
I mean, that's
Um,
just
I know, it's just insane. He hasn't had one tested in like a long, 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 long time. But this movie is so entertaining, and you get it in front of a crowd, and it has so much humor, and it's got great action,
it
and it
certainly has the
moves.
broadest appeal, I would
It
say.
does.
I
Like
feel that going in.
it's the most commercial film he's ever made, but it's also still his movie inside of it. Like,
That's what's so brilliant about it, right? I mean, it's like sometimes you give someone these enormous amounts of money and you're like, oh,
and they disappear, and you're
yeah.
like,
But
where did their style go? Where did their language go? And no,
he's
it's
right
like,
there.
and it's right there. I think this movie needs to just do what Killers of the Flower Moon did, which is make 158, 168 million worldwide, and that'd be good enough. Like it doesn't need it. Like, there will be a narrative by stupid ass Oscar pundits that want to see this movie fail, that say that that's not enough. I can tell you this: the same people. If you're predicting F1 in your top 10, that movie didn't make any money. That movie didn't make any money. That's a $300 million budget.
Mm-mm.
It made 550 million at the box office, but people touted that as a success. Sinners is barely a 2.5 multiplier, and that's considered like this grand success for a movie that Warner Brothers wanted to dump. Weapons is one where it's like, yes, that was a complete success. The Conjuring movie. And The Conjuring is an interesting one to talk about in
Yeah,
terms of,
Conjuring went like gangbusters.
it went like gangbusters, and it surprised a lot of people. Like those projections were like 30, and then it made 80 something million. So, and there's nothing out right now. So I can see a world where a lot of older people that love Leonardo DiCaprio, they buy those tickets in person.
Hmm.
They don't do those online apps like Bob. They don't have phones.
No, they.
And they don't then that's how they track you. Um but I think it's going to have great word of mouth. It's got a
Oh,
runway where
already.
there's tons of there's not a lot in its path, and it's selling out its large formats like crazy. Like it reminds me of the large formats of Oppenheimer. Those just like everybody's. I mean, they've got like a punch card system right now, for seeing it in every different format. Which means if you fill up your punch card, you get to see it 6 times, in the 6 different formats. But I think it will do well. I think honestly, the great comparison to it is Mad Max Fury Road. Like Fury Road was not a giant success, and that was a summer movie, but it didn't matter because it was like the film of the year,
Hmm.
and so it won a shit ton of Oscars. So I think box office wise, it'll be okay. I think there's going to be like some panicking, but it already seems like readjusting. This movie is also going to be released in China because of Leo. It's the first time PT has ever had a movie released in China, which is crazy. Um, and they'll see it. Like people are going to see it across the globe, and
Yeah, I
I
think
think
so
people are
too.
going to keep seeing it. That's the other thing too.
And I hope they do.
And we
Um,
need to. This is a
w-
movie that assholes out there. They go, "Oh, we don't get these
this is the
big, bold
one.
original movies," and
Mm.
it's just like, and they're not usually good, and they're not universally praised, and da 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 da. And it's like, well, we made one for you. So we tested this out with Sinners. We tested this out with Weapons. We tested this out with numerous films. Keep proving the test correct. Go see this movie like myself. I'm gonna probably see this movie like I don't know how many times I'm gonna see this movie. It's gonna
Yeah, I
be
can't wait to see it again. I've
this
only
might
seen
be
it once, so
Christina.
mm,
Are you ready? This
yeah,
is the most profound statement I can make. I think I'm gonna see this movie in theaters more than I saw Oppenheimer.
I cannot believe it.
Yeah. So
Well,
think
then
eight
that
to nine times. That's what's gonna happen here.
great way to end. This was amazing. I am going to let you go. You have the opening of the New York Film Festival. I have a Q and A date with Stellan Skarsgård. So we all have
Man,
pretty good stuff
we didn't
going
even
on
talk
this
about
weekend.
awards for this thing.
Oh yeah, you let's do some quick
We can do it.
awards. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Well, you first. What do you think? I've been the one, and Sophia's been the one. We were the ones at Telluride saying this is going to win, and everybody was kind of giving like the I don't know, it
No,
might
I
not.
don't
I
know.
don't know.
Oh, I mean, I cannot in any world today see this not getting nominated across the board.
This has got to be the leader on the morning.
Absolutely. I
Like
mean,
I
in
think there's a world where it's
actors,
like 12
best picture, a ton below the line.
line,
I mean, editing, Johnny Greenwood. I just cannot. I
maybe
can't.
production
Sean
design,
Penn,
sound.
Leo,
Leo, Teyana
Tiana
Taylor.
better be
She better be
nominated.
nominated. I mean, there's even what we didn't even mention it how great he is, but like Benicio's getting could get in.
Benicio's great.
Chase
That could
Infiniti
be
could get in.
the supporting is a pretty stacked one this year, so I don't know.
I
We'll
don't know if
see,
they,
but
but if it's that movie that just kind of just dominates, I could see if one movie dominates, I think it's this one over really anything else.
I think so too. But in terms of winning, I think it I can't really see yet where the sensibilities will be in February, March, because I think it's kind of this or Hamnet, are people
Yeah,
what's the Academy sensibility come February, March?
yeah. What's so great about this movie? It's like you think, oh, it's a movie about revolutionaries and all this politics and political stuff, and but then it's also just stripped down to a dad trying to save his daughter, and he doesn't make it so political that it would polarize. So
No,
it
exactly.
so it
It's
doesn't have
humor and
to.
action and
Yeah, so you don't have to have the feeling of like God, he's preaching at us, you know, because he's talked about like if you're preaching at a movie, you've lost
mhm.
half the audience,
I
and
don't
so I
feel that
don't.
at all.
I think that this is going to do so well on a preferential ballot, and Sophia and I and Eric have already talked about like you can already feel the wave of like eye rolly, mostly men. discourse about Hamnet and oh, it's a weepy, oh, it's this and this and that. Men, women, everybody that I've seen that's watched this thing, they're like, this is incredible. I've not
Hmm.
seen this universal of a praise of a film. And so it'd be interesting to see the box office and stuff to see also how general audience see it as well. But I think it's going to play really well with general audiences. Like I
I think
saw it
so
with
too.
a general audience last night here in New York, and they were ecstatic. And I'm looking at the tickets back at home, and it's sold out everywhere. So um, I think though, worst case scenario, he's winning just director. Um, but I think Christina, I think this could be another Oppenheimer, Honora, Everything Everywhere All at Once sweep where it's picture, director, screenplay,
Yeah, which has
actor,
been the
supporting
sort of
actor.
way the past few years.
Yeah,
One movie has like carried everything into the big
editing,
wins. Hmm.
cinematography, the score. Um,
Yeah, oh,
I mean,
everything. Yeah.
Colleen Atwood even did the goddamn costumes in this
Hmm.
movie. Like it's insane. The tech,
And that
the people behind.
bathrobe,
I mean, that bathrobe is essential. But like it's the thing of like
the best
he's working
bathrobe since
with
Lebowski.
most important one since
Mm.
Lebowski, right? But like he's working with all these people that are Academy friendly people. They're working on this grand scale. Warner Brothers is going to push the shit out of this thing. Like if you thought Sinners, if you thought Weapons were going to get their Oscar plays from this, it's not really even. I don't see that, and I just think it's also it's his time. Like we talked about it with Sean
Yes.
Baker last year
Hmm.
and Nolan, and these are guys that are championing the theatrical experience, shooting on film, shooting on locations.
It's his year.
It's him doing a different mode of filmmaking we've never seen him do before, stretching himself. I think the DGA nomination and wins in the bag because his best friend now became the president of the DGA,
Mr. Nolan is
Mr. Nolan,
holding the gavel.
Sir President Nolan, as we like to call him around here. But I think that yeah, I
That's
mean,
your real president.
yeah, well, it's a hell of a lot better than the one we have. I'll tell you that. But I just don't see a world where he doesn't. He's fully embraced um, by the voting bodies um, and even in like the the trifecta of and critics group. Like I think critics groups are going to go fucking crazy for this thing,
Hmm.
and we've seen that the movies that lead the critics groups that then do well in the industry. Like I think CCA is going to go for this. I think the Globes are going to go for this because I think this is going to go into. I think this is going to go probably in the comedy category, not the drama.
You think?
Um, I think so because I think it's such a satire at times and
Mhm.
very funny. And I think, and then, and yeah, I do think it's between it and Hamnet. And I don't know, there's just something fresh and new about this movie that,
Oh yeah.
and it's, I mean, and that the Q&As have already been crazy. People are lining up out in the streets for, I talked to somebody that's lined up out in the, that Sophia also talked to that lined up in the streets for 8 hours to
Wow.
see just Paul come out and sign stuff. Because she was like, I gotta meet him. I think that that's gonna how it's gonna be, and people are
Mhm.
gonna be obsessed. And honestly, as more divided and politically crazy it gets, this movie is gonna become more of a comfort thing of hope, because that's what it ends on. It ends on a ray of hope, and
It
it's like,
does. It's
well,
more
why?
hopeful than you think going through it when you really
Yeah,
start to think about
it's
it.
like Hamnet ends on a cathartic, emotional end, and this ends on a hopeful end.
Hmm.
How do we want to? Both very different rides of emotion. But I think that this one will be a little bit more because Hamlet's so goddamn sad, but it's so good, but it's so
Yeah.
sad. I really think it's down to those two. I don't think Sinners is going to win. I know you and others have been in the big sentimental value camp.
Yeah, but I don't know if I've ever thought it would win Best Picture, but
No,
other
but I mean,
things,
like,
absolutely.
but I think this is just kind of like that movie where, like, I'm going to be on some events over the next couple of days, and I think it's going to continue where everyone's just going to
Mm.
keep talking about this movie.
Oh yeah. No, no,
So
after.
And we're going to keep talking about this
We are
movie.
going to, we'll
We're,
definitely
we're
return
not going
to
to be
this
able to
one,
stop
my God.
talking about
No,
it. We're going to be,
we'll return to this. And where can everyone find everything you're writing about at the fest and about this? And
well, you can find all my work at awardswatch.com. You can follow me on Instagram, Letterbox, Blue Sky, and Twitter at Ryan McQuade 77. If you want to hear more thoughts on one battle after another, stick
we do.
go over to Awards Watch on Monday. We will have a special director watch episode with myself, Jay Ledbetter, Sophia Simonello, and Eric Anderson breaking down this film, going on tangents, having some banana pancakes, and hailing Saint Nick.
Can't
And
wait.
then if you like Director Watch as well, we're wrapping up our Ozu series. That's continuing over there as well. And yeah, just catch all the stuff, by signing up at the newsletter over at the website. Best place to get all the news, reviews, interviews, podcasts, and festival coverage that we have going on during New York.
Amazing. And on Pop Culture Confidential this week, we just talked about sentimental value. I have an interview with Joachim Trier, the director and writer, and Inga Ibsdotter Ilias will be coming up also on the podcast, and this and so much, lots of stuff, goodies to get into there. Thank you so much, Ryan, and thank you guys all for listening, and see you soon.
Thank you so much. This was so great.